Sports Snippets, Dennis Sullivan here, late Sunday night. How in the world are you doing? Here to talk about the Miami Dolphins crushing 31-28 overtime loss to the Las Vegas Raiders on the road in Las Vegas. Before I get started, if you do like the content of this particular video, go ahead, hit the thumbs up. That would be awesome. And feel free to subscribe to my channel as well. Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan. So guys, let's get started. Let me get going on this. This was a tough one. This was a really tough one, and I was thinking before, every NFL team, or at least most NFL teams, are going to have about 2 or 3 games, definitely 2 games each year where you're just kind of like, we shouldn't have lost that one, or a little bit more difficult to take than an average loss. This was that game for the Dolphins. Up until this point, you had a nice road victory to start the season against New England Patriots. And then, of course, the blowout loss at home against Buffalo. But, there wasn't much second guessing there. You lost 35. We lost 35-0. And then comes the Raider game against what appears to be a beatable Raider team. Now, I don't want to start taking credit away from the Raiders. It's like the last thing I want to do here in this video. Raiders are 3-0. Credit to them. They're undefeated. They're off to a great start. I think I heard at the end of the game, this is the first time in 19 years the Raiders are off to a 3-0 start. They're in their city now is Las Vegas. And this was only the second game that the Raider franchise would play in front of a live crowd in Las Vegas. Of course, that new facility they have, they play in, that started last year in 2020, but they were not playing in front of fans at that time, as was the case, as we recall, last year. But now in the 2021 regular season, this was their second game in front of a live crowd. So guys, I'm going to get a little negative here to start. I don't want to get too negative, but there's some frustrations here. As a positive, though, Jacoby Brissett definitely proved to me, and I've seen him before with the Colts, with New England, he can win NFL games. He makes plays with his legs. He can extend plays. He can, not just with his legs, he can hit throws. He has a relatively strong arm. We saw that today a little bit. So there's a lot of good you can say about Jacoby Brissett. And you would think that if he is to play more, he will only improve upon his performance. And that's good. And he made some clutch plays also. He the clutch plays at the end of the game on 4th down with the clock running out, like 10 seconds left. He runs it in on 4th down. If that's not a clutch play, I don't know what is. And then he throws the pass to the left, 2-point conversion. We're tied at 25 at the end of regulation. He also converted on a 4th and 20 pass to Mike Gesicki in overtime. If the Dolphins don't convert that play, game over, Raiders win. And eventually they would kick the tying field goal in overtime, and then, of course, the Raiders drove down and hit the game-winning field goal at the end of overtime. So here's my big concern. Before I get into the breakdown and the statistics and all that stuff, my big concern right now, and I'm just going to have to, and I would imagine you as fans too, I would encourage you also to take a close look at 2 things with the Dolphins when it comes to the offense. Who's getting the touches, which isn't that big of a deal, although there seems to almost be this fear, if you will, of involving Myles Gaskin too much. Like, there's almost this, we can't get him 15 carries even in an overtime game. No, we can't do that. He catches 3 passes for 9 yards. Okay. There just seems to be almost this fear of involving Myles Gaskin. I don't understand what that's all about. And the play calling definitely has to be under the microscope immediately. Let's talk about that right now. The screen pass at your own, I believe it was 1 yard line. You throw a wide receiver screen to the left. I think it was even to the weak side, meaning he didn't even have room to get out. The play had no chance. You throw a screen pass from your own one in your own end zone. Wide receivers 4 or 5 yards in his own end zone would have had to make a heroic play. A heroic athletic play would have avoided a safety. He didn't have a chance. Tackled, solid 4 yards in your own end zone, safety. Forget about the fact that you're up 14-0. Forget about the fact that you're on the road. Forget about the fact that you're playing against a fired up crowd on the road, against a team, as mentioned earlier, only playing in front of a live crowd for the second time in their new city of Las Vegas. Forget about all that. You had complete control of the game. Safety now takes a 14. That's a horrific. That was one of the worst play calls, guys, I've ever seen in pro football. I don't even know if you make that play call playing Madden against the computer when no one's going to know that you made that play call. I don't even know if you do that. That was not good. And a few other things, a few other play call questionable, not as pathetic as that, not on that level, but 3rd and 20, airing it out. If you don't convert, you're airing it out on 3rd and 20, knowing that if you turn it over on downs, the game's over. Luckily for us, Jacoby Brissett extended the play, and they converted a 4th and 20 play in overtime just to tie it up in overtime. But 3rd and 20, you're kind of going for broke on like a fly pattern. What, are you kidding me? No. I mean, and it almost did work in a sense. That's not a good call. And then 3rd and 3, I also have a little bit of a gripe with the shovel pass. On 3rd and 3, okay, then we hit, it doesn't work. It gets sniffed out immediately. Are we practicing this? It almost, I mean, this play went nowhere. It went nowhere. 3rd and 3, now you're going to try like a hit or miss, bang, bang, shovel pass. That didn't go anywhere on 3rd and 3. Luckily for us, we have a good kicker. We barely made the 50-yard field goal. You set your kicker up for a 50-yard field goal. So 2 of the 3 bad calls were covered up by the Dolphins in a sense. But this is an issue, guys. This is an issue. And that screen pass, that wide receiver screen pass, going back, I know I've said this already a few times, was completely unacceptable. You don't make that call. There's no explaining why you would have made that call. You don't try to explain yourself out of that. You just don't. And that's about it for me on the complaints. I'll get through the stats now. Let's talk about how this broke down. Derek Carr once again would play really well for the Raiders. He's around 1,200 yards now, through his first. I think he's just over 1,200 yards in his first 3 games. 26 of 43, 386 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception. Peyton Barber was very effective on the ground. Dolphins had a lot of issues trying to stop him and slow him down. 23 carries, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Kenyon Drake, 8 carries, 24 yards. Didn't quite have the role. I thought he would have a little bit more of an expanded role today. Henry Ruggs, a carry, 7 yards. Alec Ingold, a carry for no yards. Carr, 2 carries, -2 yards. Brian Edwards. Now, some of the receivers for the Raiders, and that's one of the differences in this game. Some of the Raider receivers were able to get open in open space and really separate themselves from the Dolphins secondary. The Dolphins secondary. Brian Edwards, 3 catches, 89 yards, almost 30 yards a catch. Henry Ruggs III, 4 catches, 78 yards, almost 20 yards a catch. Hunter Renfrow, 5 catches, 77 yards. See, these are nice averages. The Dolphins did not match this as far as average per catch, not even close. Darren Waller, 5 catches, 54 yards. Drake out of the backfield, 3 catches, 33 yards. Barber out of the backfield, 3 for 31. Zay Jones, 1 for 15. Foster Morrow, 1 for 8. Ingold, a catch and a yard. Jacoby Brissett, I'm telling you guys, he played pretty well. I thought he played well. Why is he thrown it 49 times? I know that he got a few more attempts. See, it's part. My big concerns here, immediate concerns, are part play call and part distribution. Like, what are we doing here? I know he got a few more attempts because it was an overtime game, but 49 attempts, guys, 32 for 49, 215 yards, no touchdowns, but no interceptions. Gaskin, I mean, for him, with a whopping 13 carries, I mean, wow, 65 yards. Brissett, 7 for 37. He did well on the ground. Did Brissett help his cause? Malcolm Brown, an effective number 2 guy out of the backfield, 7 carries for 31 yards and the touchdown run in the first half. If there was one good thing I would point out from the offensive effort today, it was the involvement of Mike Gesicki, which seems to come and go. For not just this year. It comes and goes for a handful of years now. But let's hope it stays more on the positive side moving forward. 10 catches, 86 yards. Jalen Waddle, here's an interesting one. 12 catches, but only 58 yards. That's under 5 yards a catch. What are we doing to get him in the position to not get that many yards when he catches the ball? Like, talk about underneath stuff, and we need to get our skilled players a little bit more of a chance here to succeed, in my opinion. I don't think the Jalen Waddle 12 catch 58 yard effort falls as much on Jalen Waddle as maybe it does on how much of a chance did he have to gain yards once he received the football. Think about that. Devontae Parker, one of my favorite Dolphins, 4 catches, 42 yards, 7 targets in an overtime game. Would like to see Devontae a little more. Can we get a little more Devontae, a little more down the field maybe, just a little more of him? Will Fuller, 3 catches, 20 yards. Gaskin out of the backfield, 3 for 9 yards. I'm not even talking about next week's game, guys, or who we have coming up, because this was a tough one for a Dolphin fan. So we have Jacoby Brissett. That's not the bad part. We have to just kind of put this one. The bad part is, and I think this will be corrected, because the frustrations didn't happen until today's game. Because week 1, hey, thumbs up. Dolphins get the victory. No frustrations there. Week 2, no frustrations. We were just thoroughly outplayed. Now week 3, okay, this was a winnable game on the road, and then you sprinkle in one horrific play call and a couple of bad ones mixed in my opinion. This is all my opinion. You can disagree if you want, guys. You could disagree with everything I say if you want. We have comments here. Go ahead. I mean, that's fair. But we got to pick up the pieces, Dolphins. Can we get Gaskin maybe just the ball a little more? Like, is there something? Can we get him maybe 16 carries in a regulation game? And when we converted that 4th and 20, can we just start running the ball? Calm down. You just made this incredible 4th and 20 conversion because you were put in that position, by the way, because you went with a low percentage 3rd and 20 pass, which was not a high percentage play at all. Dolphins convert that. Can we just run the ball a little bit then at that point? But no. Guys, leave me some comments. I really appreciate you watching these videos. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.